and her husband John rented a beautiful house for their summer vacation. This they did to cure a mental illness, temporary nervous depression, which was allegedly suffered by the woman, even though the woman herself believed that she was still in normal sanity. So far, this woman only wants to be created by writing and getting to know a world that is strange or foreign to her. However, that wasn't a very good idea for a woman like her. Apart from that, the woman was also unable to avoid any arguments about her. What's more, John is a doctor who understands such issues. There was no other choice for the woman to obey the all of John's orders. During her stay in the house, the woman felt very uncomfortable. Moreover, uh, every day this woman is always gripped by fear of the terrible things she has been facing lately. The woman saw a figure of a woman who came out of a corner of the wall, covered by the yellow wallpaper, which then crawled out into the garden in her yard. Uh, I wanted to tell John about it, but the woman was worried that it would just add the belief for John and her extended family that she's really crazy. Never did anyone know that the woman was always awake at night with intense horror. This incident really disturbed her mind and physical health, which was decreasing every day. Today, the woman was determined to find out what was really behind the wallpaper. The woman also prepared herself with a number of adequate equipment to help her tear the wallpaper later. No one can enter into her room as long as the woman is doing the action. All the doors are tightly closed and make sure that no one can duplicate the keys, can penetrate the room into the room. Finally, when the time came, uh, a female figure that the woman used to see all this time uh, was seen breathing behind the wallpaper in front of her. It was as of it was if it was a figure trying to get out of the wallpaper that limited herself to the outside world. With a little fear, but the woman confessed herself to tear off the wallpaper. Increasingly, she became more and more upset with doing it. John, who had just come home from his office, found something wrong with his wife's cubicle. With all his might, he made every effort to open the room. The result was useless until finally the woman found that she was the one behind the yellow wallpaper in her room all this time. The woman crept at will and chuckled uncomfortably with horror around her room. This story is pretty straightforward with the depression as its main topics and a bit horror cast and a horror cast I think. Uh, the interesting thing about this story is the storyline in the yellow wallpaper story feel horror, but basically that is the one of uniqueness of the story. And there is the uniqueness and the author wrote this story. Uh, the main character in the story doesn't have a name, uh, and the author made the main character an anonymous narrator. Like this is a symbol that not infrequently women don't have a place to actualize themselves like that, and so that no one can finally recognize them as free and complete individuals. Conflict in the story is more about the woman's when being obsessed with that what's behind the wallpaper. The woman also had a high sense of curiosity. He was always looking for it, and finally she find out that what was behind the wallpaper. Scale 1 to 10, I give it 7 because I don't really like this story because it's too long and too many words that are difficult to understand, like new words. I would probably recommend this to people who like to research literature or who like to solve theories in a literary work.